Another quiet night for the offense. Got to be able to score to win, and they missed out on an opportunity to gain on the Cubs. We'll talk about Wednesday's game, look ahead to Thursday, and give you an update on Mark Canha. All that next. Coming up here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Very difficult to come on like you did early in the season and just blast these guys when they don't hit. I mean, some of you guys might have joined us middle of the season, but early in the season, I was just really frustrated with these guys, and several months over the summertime too. And it wasn't until like after the Dodgers series that I thought, okay, now they were really starting to look like a baseball team. They are. And, like the last two nights, they won on Tuesday and lost on Wednesday night 2-0. But, they're playing so well. They're 17 games over the 500 mark. This is better than I ever imagined this team getting this year. Really, I did not expect this. I thought they'd finished with 86 wins. 86 wins to get in as a wild card. But, they've surpassed my expectations. And then once we saw the team that they had in the first couple of weeks of the season, first couple of months, actually, was like, okay, typical bargain basement Milwaukee Brewers team, but they're leading a heck of a lot of their pitching. If they don't get Woodruff back, they're going to have some problems filling that hole. Well, they got Woodruff back, and it seems like they've taken off after Woody's been on this team. But you know what? They did not play a very good game on Wednesday night. We're going to get to that coming up here a little bit. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Follow us along on Google, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. We're on all the major podcast downloads. You can hear us on the way to work, picking up kids or whatever. I have so many people telling me that they listen to the audio version. Of course, our growing YouTube audience, I'm pushing to get 2,000 subs. I started off just over 1,000 back in late March, and now we're almost 2,000. So we've doubled the viewers on this show, and I'm proud of that. And it's because of the great Milwaukee Brewer fans. And don't anybody bash you again for not being out at AmFam Field. I see on Twitter, that the attendance figures were down tonight. I don't care. Great Brewer fans. And I had some people come at me saying, well, you got to come out to the ballpark and support your team neither way. No, the team has got an obligation to the fans. The team has got an obligation to the fans to produce a winner. Okay? If a movie is bad, you're not going to go see a movie. Bad reviews, you're not going to you're not going to rent it. You're not going to go see it. Nothing. Okay? And if a baseball team is not playing well and it's not a fun product to watch, you're not going to go out there and watch them play. Okay? Yeah, the Brewers have, and someone emailed me the third best record of the National League. But it's about championships now. I'm beyond that. It's about championships to me. And it should be when everybody else is winning championships, including the Milwaukee Bucks of the city 2 years ago. It's about championships for the Milwaukee Brewers. All right. Just like last night. I didn't want to go down that road, but here I am. I guess it was a 2-0 game. Colin Rea pitched. My name is Chuck Freeman, first-year host of Locked On Brewers. And again, follow us on YouTube as well. Search Locked On Brewers on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and we're all good to go. Follow me, please, on Locked On Brewers, and of course on Twitter as well. Chuck Freeman, Freimund. Yeah, 2-0 game. Colin Rea, I thought, pitched well enough to win this game. Andrew Chafin gave up a late base hit. He should never pitch. Why don't we shut this guy down and admit that, this was a bad trade? Just because we went out there and made a trade and made a mistake doesn't mean we got to continue to use the guy. Okay? I'm sure he's a good guy. He said all the right things when he got here. He loves the food in Milwaukee and whatever. Okay, that was all good. And he looks like he could be on the 82 Milwaukee Brewers. But he certainly is not pitching that way. Okay? And I thought at the time it was a good move, but he gave up a run, and let's just not even use him anymore. And I'm not just saying because of that. Gave up the home run, the Stanton, and he's just not been very good. So there's no need. I don't care if he's a lefty. Don't use him. Counsel, you go out there and pitch. But Chafin, don't pitch. Anybody but Andrew Chafin. Don't want him pitching another inning. Or another batter, actually. So the Brewers left numerous guys in scoring position. They were 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. 2 on, 1 out in the 7th. 2 on, nobody out in the 8th. Couldn't get him in. Just a struggle at the plate. And yeah, when the Cubs got off to a 3-0 lead against Colorado today. I was watching that game this afternoon, and Colorado came, for a team that's got like 51 wins. Colorado sure seems to win a lot. They are a heck of a spoiler. I feel like they're always, they did damage to the Brewers earlier this year. I just feel like 51 wins. Those 51 wins must be coming against contenders. I feel like anytime they're an underdog, they somehow, at Coors Field, magically win a game. And they won against the Cubs on Wednesday. And for a brief while, it was a 4.5 game lead on the Cubs. It's now back down to 4. But still, I'll take the 4 games. You've won 2 of 3 against Miami so far. You've taken 2 of 3. You go for the series win with Adrian Houser on the mound on Thursday. That's all you can ask for. They've won these first 2 of 3. I'll take it. Yeah, I was not happy with the way they pitched. I was happy with the way they pitched, except for Chafin. Was not happy with their approaches to the plate. And Joey Wiemer, I'm getting close to saying maybe we have to shut him down too. Because not that I don't think he could be productive in the future, but now is not the time. Now is not the time. I feel like if he gets a hit these days, it's because of luck, because he runs into one. It's like if I go to the driving range, okay, and I just take a wild windup with my driver and crush it down the fairway. Well, that's because of luck. I just happen to square the face up, okay, with a wild swing. I don't have a wild swing, but if I did that. And the same with Wiemer. I feel like he's going to catch up to a couple, okay, but the fundamentally that batting stance is so bad. I don't know what the hitting coaches are saying or counsel's got to say. I haven't heard any late reaction regarding, but Wiemer is all out of whack at the plate. And I would be okay not using him because he's not defensive. The defensive center field, they're okay. I'll have him play some defense for me, but offensively looks a little rough out there. Really looks a little rough. And it's been going on for a long time. But he's like swinging out of his shoes, and the mechanics are just brutal. So the Brewers do lose. On Brewers Twitter tonight, some of you guys, we're talking about Brock Wilken. I feel like that was the talk of Brewers Twitter tonight, who had an amazing home run off to a good start. Brock was filling Brewers Twitter tonight. One of our great minor league prospects, and hopefully he'll be up here sooner, not this year, but in the coming years, sooner rather than later. The best thing that happened at the ballpark today, the sausage races. Somebody tripped. And not that I think that's funny, but I don't think I've ever seen that before, where they're running around the infield and feet got tangled up. I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often, where more people are not stepping on each other's shoes. See, this is how bad of a game it was. I'm talking about the sausage races and somebody getting tripped up. We're going to take a break. We'll talk about Canna coming up next and his injury and the extent of it, and Houser coming up on Thursday afternoon at AmFam Field. We got a quick turnaround. We'll get to all that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. The Brewers will take on the Marlins in Game 4 of the series, 1:10 with that first pitch. It's on SiriusXM, the SXM app. Search Brewers. You get all 162 of Brewers baseball on SiriusXM. Great partner of Locked On Brewers. And thanks for making Locked On Brewers your first listen to every day. All you everydayers out there tuning us in on Spotify, on Apple, on all those internet downloads, wherever you get them. Thank you very much. On your phone. Thank you very much for joining us every day. And of course, you can catch us on YouTube as well. Go Locked On Brewers on YouTube. Hit the subscribe, hit the like button, but please hit that subscribe. As I said, we're trying to get to 2K as far as subs are concerned. All right, I want to tell you about modern medical care and treatment that are important, but our global supply chains are fragile. Things like pandemics, natural disasters, foreign travel may cut you off from the treatment you need. Jase Medical is your solution. Just fill out the online form, and one of Jase's medical board certified physicians will review it to determine whether medications are safe or appropriate at this time. Jase will send you the prescriptions to one of the partner pharmacies, and then when you order, your order will be filled and mailed directly to your home. You'll get to talk to your physician if you want, message him or her for answers for treatment and any related questions at any time. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jase Medical offers the Jase case. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics. Jase Medical, plus an additional $20 by using the promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's Jase Medical, Jase medical.com. And of course, if you follow me on YouTube, use that promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off. JaseMedical.com. Chuck Freeman here. Lockdown Brewers, part of the Lockdown Podcast Network. We'll come back and talk about Mark Hanna next and look ahead to Thursday's starter. That's next here on Lockdown Brewers. Welcome back to Lockdown Brewers. Chuck Freeman, your host. Thanks for everybody for joining me today on Lockdown Brewers. The afternoon game, Brewers take on the Marlins in Game 4. That's at Washington coming into town on Friday night, Friday through Sunday. And, that's not going to be an easy out either. So we'll talk more about that coming up after tomorrow night's game, after tomorrow afternoon's game. Afternoon game, not many of these left. This might be the last 110 game left because I think in 2 weeks when the Brewers are home with St. Louis, 2 weeks from Thursday, it's like a late afternoon start. It's like a 3:10 start. So this might be the last earlier businessman special during the week. Going off the top of my memory, I think that's what it is. So, yeah, because the Cardinals are here for a 4-game series in 2 weeks. Got to go to St. Louis next week. We'll talk about that later. All right, Mark Hanna. The good news is the MRI checked out. There's nothing serious in that wrist of his. He did take a cortisone shot. He talked a couple of days ago that cortisone seems to help his wrist, but he's going to have to give it a couple of days and won't be able to test it out with a bat until Friday. If he's even allowed to even play this weekend against Washington, it'll be a day by day. So we won't know any further information until Canada tests it out by lifting a bat coming up on Friday. So I guess that's somewhat good news that there's nothing ripped or torn or broken in that wrist because we need Mark Hanna preferably at the top of that order. Josh Donaldson was back in the lineup. He's creeping up that batting order. He's up to 5th in that lineup. Council, when they acquire somebody and he starts hitting, Council just rapidly moves the guy up in the order. Like, oh, God, we got to move him up. Donaldson today batted 5th. He went 0 for 3 and 2 Ks. They did not look good at the plate. Not at all. It was not a very good day for Josh Donaldson, but it wasn't a very good day for anybody other than Carlos Santana had 2 hits. But the pitching, Colin Rea, McGill was the starter. He was the starter out there, and he went out and pitched 1 inning, gave up a leadoff base hit, and that was it. Ray came on 4 2/3. Chafin pitched to the 2/3, gave up a hit and an earned run. Bryce Wilson, 2 2/3, 2 hits. Bryce Wilson has surpassed my expectations. Again, early in the season, I was just thinking that, why are we getting this guy? But he has developed, and we'll see where he fits into the plans for next year. If there's going to be some regression, I have to believe with Bryce, there's going to be some regression there eventually. But he's pitching at a very high level right now for Bryce Wilson. If I could, I don't mean that condescendingly, but I mean, look at some of his past with the Pirates. He's getting outs and he's doing things now that he wasn't doing last year with Pittsburgh. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about Adrian Houser taking the mound. Adrian Houser taking the mound. eBay Motors Great to have them along as a sponsor. eBay, I'm a big fan of eBay. Just bought a microphone off eBay. Passion, drive, and patience is what brings home the winning trophy. Also keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. Over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for with eBay Guaranteed Fit. Your part is absolutely guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into an MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebay.com/motors. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. The Brewers start the series with the Marlins, or they finish the series with the Marlins. 1:10. That game is on Sirius XM on Thursday afternoon. 1:10, Sirius XM, the SXM app. Search Brewers. You get all 162 of Brewers baseball on Sirius XM. And again, thank you everybody for following us along on Twitter, on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, and we're going to be right there for you. Talking Brewers Monday through Friday, and soon we'll be doing these weekends again as we get down to the pennant races. We'll be starting to do these on weekends. When I say pennant races, we get down to the very end here, we'll be dropping episodes on weekends. A little shorter episodes, but we'll be dropping them. Adrian Houser takes the hill. He's been on the injury list. He did not pitch well in his last outing, and he's coming off the injury list. Didn't need any rehab starts. Missed 2 spots in his rotation. And he's going to go out there, and we'll see how he does. I prefer Adrian Houser working out of the bullpen. I really do. I think this is going to be, he'll have a couple more starts, and then postseason, big fella's back to the bullpen, where I think he's most effective. He had to start this year because that's just where the Brewers were. They had to put him in the starting rotation. Okay. And because of injuries and somewhat, but they would prefer, I think, Houser pitching out of the bullpen, but he is making the start. So the Brewers hopefully can take 3 or 4 in the series, keep it going. The lead is 4 on the Chicago Cubs. Washington in this weekend. We rip another day off the calendar, as I've been saying, and that lead stays at 4. Okay, you didn't gain, you didn't lose, but one less day. Every day you rip a day off that calendar makes it more and more difficult, the percentage-wise, for the Cubs to catch our Milwaukee Brewers. It stays at 4. Win on Thursday. Keep winning. Control your own destiny. That's going to do it for the show today. 2-0. The Brewers didn't have a lot of life, not a lot of guts in this one, to be honest with you. When I say a lot of guts, I'm not talking about players' guts. I'm talking about not a lot of meat and potatoes to this game. All right? Not a lot to talk about. Pretty quiet night. 3 double play balls. 8 runners stranded in scoring position. Over 8 with runners in scoring position, I should say. So they lost the game, and that was that. All I got to say is, Joey Wiemer, let's shut him down. Or can we work with him or whatever? It's too late in the season for that. But I just feel like he could be a good player someday. But at this point, Joey looks to be all out of whack mechanically. That's the best way I could put that. The nicest way. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. We will talk to you after the game tomorrow when the Brewers take on the Marlins in Game 4 of that series. So long, everybody.